Greetings and salutations all. Today I'll be showing you how to solo all the tier 4 Slayer bosses with just dragon armor and a somewhat okay weapon. I don't have an okay weapon myself, please keep that in mind, but I'm using unstable armor and I am wasting a lot of damage. As you can see, I've already got 98% with only 2 pieces on, so a lot of damage is wasted. I'm gonna hope that this brings my damage down sufficiently. I've got about 10 talismans in here, 9 apparently. So I'm gonna hope that brings my damage down sufficiently. I've still got the talisman bag maxed out, but I'm just gonna hope this does a good enough estimate for a worse weapon. Now, I will need to say that you do have to deal a minimum amount of damage against the bosses because lifesteal is the cornerstone of your kind of success. You will need to be leeching health off them when you damage them, and that's why damage is more. That's why your damage is so important, because it's not necessarily how quickly you can kill them, but it's more about how much health you can get back as a certain rate, and that determines whether or not you can keep up with their damage. So I think we'll get right into it. I'll do the Broodfather first because it is by far the easiest. Okay, here I am at Spider's Den. I've got just a few more kills to go until I can summon the thing. I'm wearing the Spider's hat. It's wise for extra mana. All the common reforges, well, they suck, so I don't have to worry too much about that. But wise is just, preference, I guess. It lets you use your abilities and whatnot. Not that I'm going to be using any abilities. But for this boss, you won't really need any strategies. All you need to do is tank it. I wanted to use my Aspect of the End, but unfortunately it does not have lifesteal. It, however, does have 8 anvil uses, and so it would have taken me about 800 levels if I wanted to add lifesteal to it. So I wasn't really willing to go through all that effort just for an Aspect of the End. So I'll be using Pigman, and I'll be using unstable armor. This halves the damage from spiders, including the boss itself, so it's very, very useful. And the place I'll be spawning it at is going to be right here, this little indent in the wall. When you're here, the boss can't really attack you from any angles. It'll just sit right there and leap at you. So it's very easy to just sit in the corner and spam click on it. Now, Broodfather is actually the easiest boss because, well, you don't need any strategy. The others are quite different. They have all these special moves, but the Tarantula just attacks you and drops you to, like, what, half health or something every time you try to run away. I do have potions, so I will be chugging them now, and then we can get started. I gotta be really careful here, I've got thorns. I don't want it to summon. Okay. Do that. Place the ult down. As you can see, I am keeping up with the damage it deals, so I'm sure you could probably get away with this with a leaping in my position. This doesn't look good. But all it does is it just attacks you from the same direction, and that's it. Maybe if someone comes to assist you, you might get into a bit of a bad position because he'll start taking your hits. And so you won't be able to use lifesteal on the thing, but I've got more than half health and it has less than half health, so I'm currently winning this battle right now. Just gonna hope he doesn't soak up too many hits. That does apparently have that kind of leap attack, but we should be good now. Oh boy, more people are helping. He was helping me with the diamond sword. Definitely should be careful of that. So this spot isn't invincible because it's very close to the portal, so many people might come and actually try and help you, which is not something you want. But it's a very good spot. It might be the best, if not for that. I know people come down in here and try and kill it in here or other places, but here it gives quite a wide angle, so you can't just leave your mouse pointing in the same direction and still be able to just hit it all the time. So I like that position. You can see I've done it with unstable armor, I've done it with the spider hat, so it's pretty much the weakest damage dragon set. Unfortunately I do have the pigman sword, but you could probably do it, I'm gonna say probably, do it with a leaping, though I can't actually speak from experience, unfortunately. So now we'll be doing the Revenant Horror tier 4. Now the Revenant boss is very different to the spider boss. All three of them are actually quite different in how you approach them. So the spider boss, the tarantula boss, all you need to do is tank it. But this boss it's somewhat similar but somewhat different. This boss is very fast, but it also has a specific pull attack which deals a lot of damage. But it only triggers when you stay still, meaning that you have to strafe around it, or at least move, which does make it harder to hit, but it will increase your chances of survival. In terms of gear, you will need a zombie heart. It's unlocked in tier 6 Rotten Flesh collection, and if you want to buy the materials, it costs about 355,000 coins, which is very expensive, but unless you can deal a lot of damage, you will need this heart. Because one of its perk is that it doubles all healing, including healing from lifesteal, healing from the orb, healing from the regen potions, natural regeneration. It's very helpful, and without this you probably wouldn't be able to tank the boss. Now, it does have a phase. Well, not a phase, but sometimes it'll get enraged, and when it gets enraged, you will need to utilize the Joestar secret technique and run away. So this boss it's in terms of strategy-wise, it's probably the hardest boss. Because it's very difficult to keep up with, and you probably wouldn't be able to do it with a low frame rate computer, and you will need very good aim. So in terms of actual strategy or skill, this boss is the hardest of the three. The wolf boss is technically also the hardest, but in a separate category. So I'm going to drink regen now. And I will summon it. So I prefer doing it here because I've just spawned it here multiple times, so I'm just used to this place. Oh no. I need to get out of the corner because it will lose its attack. As you can see, I'm strafing around it. If you can jitter click, you probably should do it, because it will get you more hits in. Thankfully, I'm able to click faster, and therefore more hits are registering on the thing, as opposed to this guy. Place one of those. Things I look at. Oh! Okay, so as you can see, I just ran away because it went enraged, and, well, hopefully you saw that. But I just used the aspect of the end, and I just teleported away so that it didn't, like, two-shot me. When it's enraged, it deals a lot more damage than usual, and when it does that, you wouldn't be able to actually kill it. Actually. That should fix things. So the recording cut out, but luckily I've got shadow play, so the quality should drop a tad bit during that fight, but I'll be able to edit it back in. So next we'll be doing the Sven boss. So they're like the wolf boss. And this boss is... I'm gonna say this boss is literally the hardest. Because you can't really tank it unlike the other bosses. So let's skip over to that. So for the Sven Packmaster, you will be needing some leads, and you can craft them like this. There you go. Right now, I am 4 kills away from summoning the boss, so what we're going to do is we're going to use those leads to grab this pupper here. Gonna grab an old wolf. I know most people are just use the 2 leads to grab regular wolves, but I prefer to just grab an old wolf because it's the equivalent of using 4 wolves, and I only need to find... What's he doing? Okay. Come on. So I only need to find 1 old wolf, and then that's enough. It also means I only need to leash 1 thing rather than bringing 2 or something. Because it has higher health, it also means that there's a lower chance of someone perhaps killing it. Not that that is usual, but it might happen. Anyways, we go into the typical place. Over here, I've got my regular helmet on because damage is very important with this boss. Grab out our regen pot. Gonna take that back, kill it, place this down. Now this boss is a real pain. So the reason why you're I don't have Death Strider though, do I? I'm just gonna have to break this convention a little bit, and I'm gonna throw these wise boots on. So you will need Death Strider for this, but you're just gonna hit it a couple times a second. You don't want to actually hit it out of the pond, because then it'll just run around, it'll get out of control, so that's not good. You're just gonna hit it a little bit like this, move around it, otherwise it'll use its pull attack, much like the zombie. Whoop. Ooh, much like the Revenant, and then you will pretty much, you'll probably die in 1 hit. That's not very good. That's not good. So it's in the middle now, I can just strafe around it, click normally, and it will not too much of a problem. Oh! I recommend not sprinting as well, as you can see. I'm just moving normally. And now the puppies are here, and these are these are just small fries, don't worry about them. Just gonna move around it. We can walk into them, or we can not, I guess. They're only dangerous when they're hitting you into the boss itself, because the boss is the only thing that deals damage. Do remember to keep moving around it, because even if you find a spot without any puppies that can hit you into it, it will use its pull attack on you, and that wouldn't be good. Oh, cool. So all the puppies just died, meaning that I'm gonna have to, that does tend to happen when you have cleave on your sword. It'll, for some reason, just stop them from swimming. But, there we go. That's done. All 3 Slayer bosses, tier 4, have been killed with just typical dragon gear. Unfortunately, I did use a pigman sword because I don't have access to a leaping. But I would have used it. But, that's it. I hope this was helpful to you, but don't be too hasty in tackling them. You might want to just practice on the tier 3s for the meantime. Anyways, thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.